Hi Libra, welcome to your reading for Aries season. I'm doing you next because the full moon will be in your sign April 1st, the pink moon. And the pink moon is all about the spring, things coming into bloom. But with Aries in majority of the planets, you probably feel more of an urge to really put yourself and your needs first, especially when it comes to your relationship with other people. And this is something that either most of you are embracing or others of you feel guilty about. So we're going to dive in to determine where you need to interject more of that independent personality in your life. And we're also going to get the oracle cards first. All right, we're going to do it opposite. Aries, I read them last. And Scorpio, you, I will read first, okay? So we have protection, and we have the card of beauty, all right? So to me, this tells me that anything you say, anything you do for the sake of yourself, you will be protected and guided in, and it will be done so beautifully at the same time. It's okay to no longer entertain people or categories and areas in your life that just take too much from you or take you for granted. All right. So that moon will start eliminating certain areas of your life where emotionally you are just giving too much and it's time to be a little more independent. Okay. So it's changing the dynamic from we to I. All right. There are circumstances in your life that have a repetitive pattern, and I don't think you can unsee it anymore. I think you're starting to accept it for what it is, or perhaps you're starting to question why. Why does this theme keep reoccurring? Why does the outcome always remain the same? How to differentiate between something that is repetitive and something that is different from what you've had. Okay? Just know that things that have not worked out, it was for your own protection. It just wasn't the path you were supposed to be on with that person. Okay? So if there is ever kind of regret or guilt, I feel like you will get yourself out of it with the devil in the reverse. And that's great. You know, because I think you've always allowed yourself to feel so hell-bound on the past and what could have been and what should have been. And I feel like either Aries or Scorpio kind of had the same theme going. Maybe Scorpio, okay? Which kind of makes sense because they are right after you. All right? So for some of you, it could be an area of your life where family is involved, career, wanting to set yourself up with success and legacy even. But your expectations sometimes can get the best of you because when they're not fulfilled, that's when the peace and harmony turns into intolerance. Okay? Your attitude completely shifts when things don't go the way you anticipated. So perhaps it's also getting yourself out of the same kind of reactivity and seeing things in a new perspective, which I think will get you out of feeling like you're kind of in a loop. Okay? Especially when it comes to family, especially when it comes to building a home, a legacy, okay? Financial abundance, career even. So it's actually being able to change your perspective, which makes sense. The Queen of Wands here with, you have the cups here. The moon is going to be in your sign. Okay? All right. This Page of Cups just wants to keep coming out, so we're going to let it. So the way that you handle things emotionally can be a little tweaked. Right? We're going to see things now in a position where, again, we're not in a loophole of just feeling regret or feeling like we could have changed things. It's just allowing things for what they are, right? It's knowing who you are, and it's also reshaping the way you see yourself, and also what you can and cannot control. You know what I mean? We're just kind of letting that go. Okay. So Libra, where you are right now in Aries season, which I think is amazing for the fact that there's so many planets in the constellation of Aries and they're all just like hanging out and chilling. Because of that, it has taken you out of a space of codependency on other people and instead in a space of solace, in a space of just being content just by yourself. I don't think you have ever felt so much at peace as you do now. And I think for some of you, it's been a really long time where you've kind of kept yourself from being here and instead just always entertained these patterns of inconsistency for the sake of consistency. I think you're also having an awareness that security and stability that you found in your relationships, for some of you, it could be a codependent personality, attitude, behavior. I think you're starting to realize that being in solace and being in your own space and in your own company is actually the most beneficial. And I don't think you've ever felt this good in such a long time. Because remember, Libra, you're really good at networking, you're really good at mingling, you're really good at building relationships with other people. So good that you know how to adapt your personality to either fit in or to be liked by other people. And in a way, I feel like that's something that it was an unconscious habit or a comfort zone even, right? And you're just going in a different direction now. You're going into the Aries route of being completely independent and just preferring your time alone. And I don't think you feel that your spirit, your essence, your personality, or your ego is being pulled in a direction that you don't want it to be, because like Gemini, your personality can easily mold to fit other people. So this is also a time of really getting to know yourself. Getting to know yourself and giving back to yourself rather than giving away to people or things that really doesn't provide any benefit into your life except for time and space. Okay? So to me, this is really great. You're turning your back on old habits and old ways of seeing relationships and how you fit into them and how you expect people to fit into your life. I think that dependent nature was just something you were trying to fill a void in. And instead you have been able to refill your own cup with the High Priestess here. Not entirely, it will get there. You will get there. But this is a time to just embrace self. And Aries energy is helping you do that. I think there's always been an admiration. Like most Libras that I meet, there is some sort of an admiration of Aries energy and the self. Okay? And just being able to choose yourself. Because that has always been something that's been a little difficult for you, Libra. Okay? So let's carry on. So the Eight of Pentacles here is out. So consistency is also key. And with consistency and learning how to be in your own space and loving that space, you do have more of an attraction to meet people that can kind of fill the void that you're looking for. We go from the 10 of Pentacles in reverse to the 10 of Cups in the upright. So I think your way of seeing that whole American dream, if you will, of, family, legacy, happiness, money, fulfillment, I think you've seen it in the most practical and logical way to approach obtaining these things. But what was missing was the love aspect. what was missing was the need of feeling good and maybe changing your values and priorities as to what family legacy and what the home means to you. Maybe you always looked at it as something that need to be obtained, you know, in society, regardless if you're a woman or a male. Having a family, we were always raised and propped up to believe that that's the end all be all. So your approach of that fantasy, you know, that dream that was sold to you when you were a child, or for most felt like an obligation to obtain, it's seeing it in a different way and rechanging and reprioritizing your value and maybe having more room to fill into something that's more abstract rather than something that's monetary or tangible. All right. So that Queen of Swords in the upright is telling me that we are changing the way we see things because it's just not working out for us anymore. All right. Now, oh, the Lover's coming out here. Now, although you have found a different way to approach your goals, what you've always aspired to, if this is something that's important, and for most of you, it's probably not even a sense of like having your own family, but being included in a sense of in an environment of community, even finding fulfillment in whatever you are doing, your work, and the benefits and the reward that comes with it. Okay, so again, it doesn't have to be family per se, but it's finding a space of value in a certain area of your life where you want to be more included. Okay, and you want to find people who are like you. But it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle because you will find that you will go back into being that people pleasing. I just want to keep the balance and the peace for the sake of it, even though I'm suffering on the inside. Healing is not linear, so you will battle a little bit between going back and forth in this, you know, when you were once felt codependent or bad habits or whatever robbed you from your own sense of peace and security. And instead, you will have to reorganize and reevaluate how much you're giving towards other people. And what you're going to see is the way that you give, although is noble and charitable, it does rob you. It takes away from what your needs and what you need to feel fulfilled in a relationship for it to be stable and consistent. Okay, so we will be fighting and finding the strength between the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse and the Nine of Swords in the upright. All right, so you're almost there. The theme is, as you see, you're at the 8, you jump to the 10, and then you jump to the 9. So it's taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Well, which really isn't a big, it's not a big decline, or it's not something that's, it is progressive, but every once in a while, if we're going to take 2 leaps, we're going to have to evaluate the one that we skipped before we can then continue again. Okay, so don't worry. Again, healing is not linear at all. You're always going to take a step back, okay, after making a step forward. Also, your ego, too, will probably get in the way and make you feel like you can't control things. Things are not going the way you want, you know, still harboring the past even. It's okay. Let it go. When you're in this much space of solitude, you do tend to reflect on the past, which this is why I mean when you're taking a step forward or a 2 leap step physically, emotionally, you're going to have to reflect. So you can learn the lessons and understand what was missed so you don't repeat those mistakes again. So you don't put yourself in a position to be codependent and putting yourself last so everyone else can be to feel good. And then resentment comes in and we don't want that. I don't even think you want that anymore. You're kind of over it. You're over this pattern. You're over feeling the same way over and over and over again. Okay, you have finally exited something that just didn't provide the fulfillment that you need. And I think you're also taking an opportunity. The opportunity that you take to mentally check out of this is so great, because you come into it, really do come into a space of peace and forgiveness. Forgiveness is important, not for the other person, but for yourself, because once you don't allow that power back in, that's they can never control you. The person, the circumstance, the guilt, resentment, the ending, whatever, doesn't control you anymore. Indicating with the Knight of Pentacles, they go away, or perhaps you take yourself out of it, however way you want to see it. Alrighty, now the Ace of Cups in reverse to the Knight of Wands. Now, I think for some of you's relationships just is on the back burner right now, and you're embracing being single, you're embracing being in your own space, you're embracing just reprioritizing your value and giving all of that back to yourself, and not feeling cheated and robbed by other people. The Aries energy is very go, go, go. For most of you, I wouldn't be surprised if money and, God, I wish I could say it, but YouTube will censor me. Money and dating, if you will, is kind of a priority. You don't want anything serious right now. You just want to feel the desire, the passion. There's no love backing it. This is a time where you feel like you want to be selfish. You want to spend on yourself, okay? You want more experience. You want to feel more alive. But we both know that that's not going to last. So everything in moderation. Don't have too much expectation. If you're having fun right now, great. Have fun. Just make sure you do it with good intention and you're not robbing anyone else, because that kind of defeats the purpose of this whole healing. It's not for you to go, crazy and take your frustrations, your anger, and then the lack of control out on other people. Remember, you are the gatekeeper and you're all about balance. So if you're providing chaos towards others, it's going to come back to you. Because even then, you're not protected from that. I'll tell you that. Okay? You're not protected from karma if you're the one instilling it onto other people. So we also want to be able to listen more to the angel on our shoulder. Okay? And that will keep us out of a position of also feeling indecisive at the same time. So not only is this a time where you feel like you need to prioritize your needs and you're doing it very confidently and a bit feisty, but you're also very clear on what you want to do. And there will be a sense of peace for a little bit where indecision is not taking up so much of your time and space. All right. So again, that's why I say be careful with how you treat others at the same time during this period, because you're not going to be contemplative as much as you used to be. Therefore, you may make more mistakes and you may not realize it until much later. But then again, everything is a lesson learned. So just know that whatever lessons do come your way, you're ready to face them. Okay. Even if they're consequences. We all make choices. A Libra man once told me that. It was a very long time ago, and I even forgot what the topic was about, but I guess I was asking them, like, you don't feel empathy, you don't feel, remorse or sorry for this person? And they told me, everyone makes choices. That was their decision to make. Why should I feel bad? And I feel like that was the most balanced perspective I've ever heard. And because of that, I now embrace the same mindset. I think a lot of people, even some of you's Libra, can fall into the trap of feeling bad or feeling responsible for other people's decisions or outcomes. But at the same time, there needs to be some recognition that people make their choices and they have to live with it and they have to grow from it and they have to understand from it. It's not up to you to fix or take on that burden. Okay? And that applies even for you. If you're the one that feels that you've made the mistakes and you feel the remorse from your own decisions, then take it as a lesson learned, an opportunity. Find the silver lining. Some growth had to come from it. Be able to shift the weight of the scales. From just because something is heavy doesn't mean it's bad. Sometimes it just has a little more worth and value. So it's actually more expensive, but the value is higher. It can be a good thing. All right. All right, I'm going to take out a few more cards and then we'll call it a read. All right. Wheel, oh, wow. Wow, Libra. Wheel of Fortune. Here you are, Justice and Death. Let's see what's at the bottom here. Three of Pentacles in reverse. So, as we saw in the beginning of the reading, Four of Cups. These three cups here is your past. It could be past relationships. It could be past opportunities. Anywhere in your life. There's a theme of three here. And also we have the Three of Pentacles in reverse. It could be family. It could be, something tells me it's more along the lines of relationships with others. All right. And this Wheel of Fortune with this Death and you being in the middle indicates to me that this next opportunity that comes your way could be something from above. It could be heaven sent. It could be that wheel that finally turns in your favor. But the thing is that although that wheel does turn in your favor, it's not going to represent what you've always dreamed of, or what you anticipated, or what you expect. We have to let go of your expectations. It's not your life path. It's not meant for you. It's being able to embrace something different, unique. Okay? And it may not represent itself as something that you could see yourself in, something that feels strong. I don't know, it's different. It's going to feel, and I think this is going to benefit you because I think sometimes you can jump so easily, with your expectations and kind of romanticize a bit of how you want things to anticipate. But this time you're not going to do that. This time you're letting go and letting be and letting God. So this Six of Wands in the reverse to me, usually to me indicates like a non-successful thing. But I think in your case, something that does present itself as something that's probably just bare minimum or simple even, can actually benefit you because it allow you to think more clearly and get you out of this expectation that is no longer there for you. This past relationship, this expectation of how you always dreamed of your home life, your family life, your love life to look like is going to be different. It's not there. Whether by fate, whether by your own doing, it's time to accept it for what it is. All right? So, yeah, Libra. This new opportunity that will come in, we want to embrace it. And despite how it comes to you, give it a chance. Even if it doesn't look like something you can envision later on, that's okay. You don't have to jump into love so quickly. Allow things to burn, allow things to simmer, allow things to grow. It may surprise you later on what this potential opportunity can serve you. Let's get one more card as the outcome. If you were to step into this, right? I hope I don't contradict myself. Instead, let's do this deck here. This is all your major arcanas. So we got the Fool, right? So if you were to step into this or step away from it. We got two here. the Hanged Man, and the Chariot. Like I said, this is not a time for you to jump into those expectations. Feel it out. Whatever this person, this opportunity, this chance even, this could be even a reconciliation if you wanted to. Feel it out. Don't have expectations for something that you don't know how it's going to be. Or don't expect something to constantly play out the same, because I think you also ruin the opportunity when you don't allow it the chance either. So I'm trying to provide all different perspectives because this is a general reading, okay? But the cards are telling me that you should kind of chill out a little bit before having these conclusions of what the relationship is and judging it. All right? Feel it out. Let it be. Give it a chance. Be open-minded. All right, Libra? That's your reading for Aries season. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated, let me know in the comments. If you guys want a personal reading, my link is below. Follow me on Instagram. That's where I list all of my events. And you can have a reading with me in person, especially if you're from the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania area. All right, everyone. Thank you again for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.